some damn responsibility to implement our ideals, and that's what we're doing differently here.
Gavin, a little sarcastic there. The new plan is community-based and includes medication and housing. If people do not accept the help, they can risk getting criminally charged, being put on involuntary psychiatric hold, or being put into a court conservatorship. An ex-con has pleaded guilty to murdering the wife of music executive Clarence Avant during a robbery at the couple's home in Beverly Hills. Jacqueline Avant was fatally shot in December. Her killer could get as much as 170 years to life when he's sentenced at the end of the month. All right, when we come back, we are going to talk with ABC's Aaron Katersky, get more into the Russian shelling last night of this Ukrainian nuclear plant. They put the fire out, but what is the backlash from this? How dangerous is it? I know we're hearing that no nuclear, there was no radiation that was leaked in it, but have they been able really to get in there and make sure of that? Those are the kinds of questions I want to know. Right now, though, I also want to know what's up on the 101. Dave Joseph, happy Friday to you.
And happy Friday right back to you, Jennifer. The 101 southbound at Melrose is where we find a crash. This has the off-ramp closed. Watch for a little slowing as you approach. 101 southbound at Sepulveda Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. You've got a crash blocking the on-ramp. A gas tanker involved there. As some Caltrans working in Chino, the 101 northbound at Haskell, the left lane is closed. Crews repairing the center divider wall. Crash working in Highland on the 210 westbound after the 330. That's off of the shoulder. And look out for a stall in Rubidoux this morning. The 60 eastbound before Valley Way. That blocks the left lane. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
5:06 on your wake-up call. Let's say good morning now to ABC's Aaron Katersky, who we will have in just a second. I think they're just finishing up getting him on the line here. I'll give you a couple of stories here in the meantime. Oh, there we go. We got him. Hi, Aaron. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, so let's talk about now the shelling last night of this nuclear plant in Ukraine. What are the reports that you're hearing? So far, I have heard that no radiation was leaked, but what's on your front?
Well, no, that's what the International Atomic Energy Agency said, that there was no heightened level of radiation, that none of the 6 reactors was affected by this firefight, shelling, and ultimate fire that resulted from that in a dormitory building near the main reactors. So we don't know whether it was intentional on the part of the Russians, whether it was an accident. Either way, it's alarming. And President Zelensky accused the Russians of wanting to create the next Chernobyl, but 6 times worse, referring to the 6 reactors at the plant, Europe's largest nuclear power plant. The president was on the phone with President Biden and other world leaders who were looking for updates, deeply concerned about what this reckless attack might say about the willingness of the Russians and you know what they're willing to do here to besiege the country.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because from what I saw, you had, so in the evenings, you guys, just a little behind the scenes baseball here, the ABC reporters tell us, they give us a little synopsis of what they're covering the next day. When Aaron put in his story last night, you specifically said that you had Russian tanks and infantry moving towards this site of this nuclear power plant. At that time, it seemed counterintuitive to all of a sudden hear that shelling had gone off in this nuclear power plant on the site of it. If Putin is having his troops headed right that direction, at that point, they couldn't have known if radiation would have been leaked. So you would have been sending your own people potentially into a site that's leaking the radiation.
So it either suggests that there's a lack of command and control, or it suggests that there's a recklessness. Either is not particularly good, and so we're not sure which one it is. But it's bananas to think that a nuclear power plant, especially the largest one on the continent, could come under attack in a war zone. That's never been happened before, and nuclear power plants are not designed, menacing as they might look. They are not designed to withstand the kind of firepower that's been brought to bear here in Ukraine.
Now, is this nuclear site under Russian control right now?
We believe it is, although it seems as if, and this is from the local mayor, that the Ukrainian workers have been allowed in to keep the plant functioning as normal. So we don't know whether the Russians intend to hold it as part of a larger idea that they need the infrastructure in order to take over the country, or whether it's just a temporary thing or what.
Okay, and when it comes to Chernobyl, they had mentioned that they were planning on encircling that as well. Is that the case? Have they gotten that?
Well, early in the campaign, though, on sort of the march down from Belarus, to quickly come to Chernobyl, and we believe it was briefly held. We don't know whether the Russians are still holding it on their march southward toward Kyiv.
It is very alarming anytime that you hear that the Russians are taking control of nuclear sites. Anybody's nuclear site, that does not make you feel good on that. The thing that did make me feel good yesterday was watching President Zelensky. Man, when he was asked that question of would you be evacuated, and that defiant no, he is in it to win it. He is not going anywhere.
And I really, at this point, don't think he has a choice, right? He's been rallying the country. He's bearing the burden of this conflict on his shoulders. He looks exhausted, but when our Ian panel saw him and asked him, how long can you hold out, he was frank. He said, I don't know. But he is not going anywhere, and I think that's in the assessment of Western defense officials, giving Ukrainians a real sense of pride and willingness to continue pressing the fight, even though they are outnumbered and outgunned.
All right, Aaron, thanks so much. Stay safe this weekend. I'm sure we'll talk again Monday.
Thank you, Ben.
See you later. That's ABC's Aaron Kapirsky. I think another thing that Zelensky said yesterday when he was, again, I mentioned this with Handel, he was talking to, speaking directly to mothers and wives of the Russian soldiers who were coming into his country. And he was saying, I don't want to kill them. We don't want to kill Russians. Please get them to come home. It was so stark and so unpresidential. It was just one human begging another group of humans to help him save his country. It was so raw. I think that's what caught me off guard, was just like, wow, that is a leader who is just being a man and pleading with women, whoever he could get, whoever he could plead to. And I thought it was a really poignant moment, but it also shows the desperation, right? I mean, if Zelensky has to go to that level, if any leader had to go to that level, it just shows that they are begging you to stop this fight on their country. It was just a really unique, I think, address that he gave yesterday. Let's get back to some of these stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA County plans to hire a third party to identify misinformation and disinformation that eroded trust in the 2020 election during the pandemic.
Two really striking and vivid illustrations about the danger.
Supervisor Sheila Kuehl says the new strategy also includes an information toolkit that departments can use to combat disinformation and campaigns to build trust in elections and the health department.
False information actually made our pandemic more deadly.
Supervisor Catherine Barger says the county shouldn't be regulating information.
I'm concerned this motion creates a slippery slope, and that is why I can't support it.
Barger said during the vote this week, improving government transparency would be a better strategy. In LA, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
A wildfire in the Cleveland National Forest near Riverside and the Orange County line is 50% surrounded now. It has spread to 553 acres. That's the latest update. Usually, that's the same number we had yesterday, but usually we get an update 7-ish in the morning, so maybe I'll have another one for you during the Handel show. An OC Fire Authority spokesman says the wet weather moving into the region will help the firefighters. Thank goodness. A 16-year-old student has filed a lawsuit now against Rialto High School for failing to take action after she told them she was sexually assaulted by a boy on campus. The girl's lawyer says her complaints were ignored by the school until last month when she broke down in class after a confrontation with the boy. Oh, here is a story from a few years ago that was dramatic when it came out, and it remains dramatic. Remember the woman from Northern California who had been arrested for faking her own kidnapping 5 years ago, Sherry Papini? She was arrested yesterday on charges of lying to federal agents about being kidnapped and defrauding the state's victim compensation board of $30,000. She was found in November 2016 after days of searching in California and several nearby states. Papini told cops at the time she'd been kidnapped at gunpoint by 2 Hispanic women, but the investigation showed she was actually staying with a former boyfriend. Don't fake your own kidnapping. A plea agreement has been reached with the owners of a now closed storage facility in Beverly Hills that rented safety deposit boxes.
The owners have agreed to plead guilty to money laundering in an agreement where they will avoid criminal charges. The facility was raided in March of last year. An indictment shows federal agents broke open boxes and seized guns, drugs, gold, and cash from about 400 of them. The company admitted to recruiting drug dealers and criminals as customers who paid more than $550,000 in cash and Bitcoin to use the boxes anonymously. Dozens of box holders have had their property returned after petitioning that they're not criminals. A former date for the plea has not been set yet. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
The LA County DA's office has filed felony charges against the former LA County Sheriff's deputy for a fatal on-duty shooting nearly 3 years ago. Andrew Lyons and another deputy responded to an apartment complex in Willowbrook in 2019 about a guy in a car. The guy put the car in reverse and both deputies fired. Prosecutors say Lyons fired an assault rifle after the car had stopped moving, killing the man. And the only police officer charged in connection with the shooting in Louisville, Kentucky that killed Breonna Taylor has been found not guilty. Brent Hankinson was charged with blindly firing into a neighboring apartment during the raid almost 2 years ago in which Taylor was fatally shot.
His wanton conduct could have multiplied over by 3.
Prosecutor Barbara Whaley says Hankinson was never in danger, even though he testified he fired his gun in self-defense. He got fired after the shooting. All right, when we come back, we'll get some entertainment news with ABC's Jason Nathanson. Happy Batman Day to all of those who celebrate. The Batman is expected to be the first big blockbuster of the year. But don't worry, if you're not a big fan of superhero movies, there's one I'm super interested to see. It's The Dropout. This is the one about Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes and Winning Time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. All that's coming up with Jason in just a few minutes. So let's get back to that crash on the 101.
Southbound at Melrose Avenue in Hollywood, that crash still blocks the off-ramp. You've got a stall in West LA, 405 southbound before Santa Monica, that blocks the carpool lane. A fire in Downey, the 105 westbound at Studebaker Road, that's off to the right shoulder. And in Santa Ana, the 5 southbound at Grand Avenue, you've got a stalled semi that's blocking the off-ramp. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer. The average 30-year mortgage stays on the lender's books around 8 years before it's paid off. So why do people take a 30-year loan rather than a 10 or 15? Lower monthly payments, of course. However, those lower payments come with a much higher interest rate. What if you can have the low interest rate of a 10-year loan with the low payment of a 30-year? Sounds smart, right? Introducing the Smart Money Loan from Owning with a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR, fixed for the first 10 years. You can lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest. Call 833-2-OWNING to lock in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today, or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This report is sponsored by personal injury firm Owen Patterson & Owen.
Owen Patterson & Owen has recovered over $10 billion for accident victims. I'm Susan Owen, managing partner at Owen Patterson & Owen. Carefully consider the winning track record before you choose who to trust. You've been injured 888-OPO-WIN. And we do. Go see OPOLaw.com.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
The Clippers claim the season sweep of the Lakers with a blowout victory, making their win streak 5 games. Lakers host the Warriors tomorrow. UCLA exited the women's Pac-12 tournament after a tight quarterfinal loss to Oregon, and then wrap up the regular season tomorrow against USC. And a report says 4 owners opposed Major League Baseball's final proposal to the players meeting Tuesday before the league officially canceled the first handful of games. I'm Steve Jordan.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot and millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Hey, it's Jennifer. Join us this March to Make March Matter for Children's Hospital Los Angeles. Make March Matter makes amazing things happen for sick kids. It's a month-long event that takes place right in your neighborhood. So every time you shop, dine, or attend an event at a participating partner, They'll donate funds to support Children's Hospital Los Angeles. It feels so good to give, and saving lives is everyone's business. For more information, visit MakeMarksMatter.org. That's MakeMarksMatter.org. The Ridiculous Crime Podcast proves that true crime isn't always about mayhem and murder. Sometimes it's just silly. Take a deep dive into the absurd side of criminality with tales of stupid capers and idiotic crimes that are 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
16-year-old Max Wade decides to steal the yellow and black Lamborghini Gallardo Spider. The owner? You know him as Guy Fieri.
Listen to Ridiculous Crime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You have a car you're looking to get rid of? Whether it's old or ancient, Cars for Kids will take your car in any condition. They have over 100 towers ready to pick your car up, and fast. That's why hundreds of thousands of people ditched selling their cars and donated them instead. And their stellar service has earned them an average 4.9 star rating in the process. Try it yourself. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go to carsforkids.com. They don't just say it's convenient. It is convenient. Donate today. 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Remember, that's Cars with a K.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait. They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. I've spent my career designing and building beautiful homes. I'm here on KFI to help you transform your house into a more beautiful home. And while we're at it, build yourself a more beautiful life. Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Tomorrow morning at 6 on KFI.
More stimulating talk.
You're an outlaw, it's a game on, so play. Hey now, you're a rock on, get the show on, get paid now.
Good morning. Welcome to a Friday. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. This is your wake-up call. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. And of course, our big story this morning, President Biden and other world leaders have condemned Russia's attack on a nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The attack that started the fire has since been put out. Apparently this was in a dormitory area, and they do not believe that there was any radiation that was leaked. The Ukrainian officials say the nuclear plant is now under Russian control. LA County residents, you go naked today. Face naked, that is. You no longer have to wear masks at restaurants, bars, gyms, shops, and other businesses. The CDC says new data released yesterday puts LA County at the lowest level of virus transmission. Business owners have the option, though, to require masks for both customers and employees. And I don't get this one. The FAA says there has been a 41% increase in pilots reporting lasers pointed at them during flight. The FBI is investigating all the cases. Pointing a laser at any aircraft, regardless of size and strength, is a federal crime. And coming up at 5:35, Jesse is joining us. No, not Dean's right this morning. Dean's off today. But we do have another KFI, one of my favorites, quite honestly, one of my best friends. Amy King is joining us. Today is National Dress in Blue Day. And this is to raise awareness about colon cancer. And if you know, Amy is a colon cancer survivor. So instead of having some person on a PR firm or something to talk about colon cancer, why not have our own Amy King on to talk about her journey, where she is now, and the importance of raising awareness. So she'll be on with us in just a few minutes. But another friend of mine joining us this morning, ABC's Jason Nathanson. I'm into this morning. Jason, it's all buddies all the time.
Oh, fantastic. Great to be here.
Well, let's talk now some entertainment news. And do I wish you a happy Batman Day? Are you into it?
No. It's a holiday that I do not celebrate. So, I'm fine to talk about it. I've seen it and all that, but I'm not going to say that I necessarily, I don't worship at the altar of Batman, as I know some people do. As the friend that I brought to the screening does, so I'll tell you about his reaction in a second. But the Batman is out today, and a lot of people have been waiting for it. There's been a lot of talk and buzz about it, certainly during COVID when they were making it, and the set was shut down a couple times. Robert Pattinson reportedly got COVID while making it. Robert Pattinson is the new Batman. There's been a lot of talk about this being the Kurt Cobain Batman, the Nirvana Batman, the emo Batman. And there's some truth to that. This is certainly a little more emo, a little more down and depressed, maybe, for sure. A little darker. It's physically darker. The screen is darker in a lot of cases, but also the tone of the film is darker as well. But at its core, this Batman is a murder mystery. It's a noir murder mystery. Batman is solving crimes with the help of Lieutenant Gordon. He's not yet Commissioner Gordon, but Lieutenant Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. And he's trying to figure out who done it. And there's a cast of characters along the way, including Paul Dano, who plays the Riddler, Colin Farrell, who's unrecognizable as Penguin.
I love him.
And this is more of a, I think that, like in the past, the villains especially have been more not superheroes, but like fantastical beings with maybe kind of powers or something, a little off with them, where Batman is just a rich guy in the suit. Here, everybody's just a normal guy, pretty much, which kind of helps with this murder mystery detective thing that we got going on. I liked it. It was fine. I didn't feel emotionally connected to any of it at all. I wasn't rooting for anybody. I didn't care about any of the characters. So I wasn't emotionally invested. We also have Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman as well.
How is she? I love seeing just some of the pictures now. I'm dying to see her. I think she's going to be my draw for this one.
Yeah, she's good, and the two of them together, Robert Pattinson and her, have good chemistry. But again, I was not connected to anybody here. I didn't root for anybody. I didn't love anybody. That's been the case for me with most of the Batman films. I haven't felt a connection except for the Heath Ledger character of the Joker, which for me is one of the greatest characters of all time on screen, not just in the Batman movie, but one of the greatest. And I keep searching for that, right? That's like a drug, that you get a hit of that and you keep searching for that fix. And we just have not, I don't think anybody has repeated that. So,
what about your friend? I'm interested, what he thought as being a Batman aficionado.
Sure. So this is my friend Drew, who lives in Los Angeles. I'm sure he'd be happy to be mentioned. And he has a Mustang that is decked out as the Batmobile. He has a license plate that is Batman related. This guy is all into Batman. And he loved it. He thought it was great. He thought it was one of the greatest Batman films that he's ever seen. So, you can take my review, and I'm kind of a sour Sam over here. But he absolutely loved it, so, take that for what you will.
Okay, now, if you're not a big superhero fan, I'm with you, Jason. They're okay. They're fine. If somebody says, hey, let's go see it. Sure, that sounds fun. But I'm more into, I don't know, I like more the, I know you said it was a murder mystery, but I like the crime drama thing. So last night, my husband walked in and he goes, I know we have Pam and Tommy that we still need to watch on Hulu, but I saw this one, The Dropout, and he said, I really want to see this one. And The Dropout's the one about Fairness founder Elizabeth Holmes. I think this might be my go-to this weekend.
Yeah, and the series was fantastic. It's based on the ABC Audio podcast, so go off to ABC Audio. And we know the story of Elizabeth Holmes. There was the trial. I think there's been a lot of coverage of her and things about her. But as much as I knew, which wasn't everything. I followed it casually, but I didn't know everything. This taught me a lot. It taught me about her, what her motivations. I think it's always helpful to know how somebody grows up, how they become a person, and then that can speak to some of their motivations of why they might found a business of blood testing and then defraud a bunch of people out of hundreds of millions of dollars. You get a little bit of a sense of that. Amanda Seyfried plays Elizabeth Holmes, and she's fantastic. She was originally supposed to be Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live. And I'm kind of glad that she dropped out, because Kate McKinnon is also in another series out this week, Joe versus Carol, the Tigerton story. She plays Carol Baskin. And it's really hard to not think of her as an SNL character. No disrespect to her and her acting, but I'm kind of glad she wasn't in this the Dropout in the Fairness miniseries because Amanda Seyfried did a fantastic job. And also you have Naveen Andrews and Sunny Balwani, that's her co-CEO / lover. William H. Macy's in this, Lauren Metcalf, Alan Ruck, Sam Waterston. I mean, it's got a huge cast. And I'm riveted. They gave us 7 of the 8 episodes, and I'm waiting on pins and needles for that last episode.
Oh, I can't wait. Jason, thank you so much this morning. Also out this weekend, Winning Time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. I know a ton of people in LA are going to be watching that. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, take care.
Thanks. See you later. ABC's Jason Nathanson. I am going to be all over the Dropout. That cast is incredible. All right, when we come back, it is KFI's own Amy King because today is National Dress in Blue Day. Why? It's to raise awareness of colon cancer. And I thought, no, I'm not going to have some PR person on. Not that they wouldn't do a great job, but it would be way more impactful to talk with my friend who is a colon cancer survivor. You know her, you love her. She's here on KFI all the time. Let's let Amy King raise awareness for colon cancer and why it's so important to talk about this. So we'll talk with her in just a second. Right now, though, let's take a look at your job. We've got a stall on the 405.
Southbound before Santa Monica Boulevard in West LA, that stall blocks the carpool lane. Watch for slowing as you approach. 405 northbound at Atlantic, you've got a stall on the off-ramp. Hollywood still out the crash on the 101 southbound at Melrose. That blocks the off-ramp. And a stalled semi in Santa Ana, the 5 southbound at Grand Avenue, that blocks the off-ramp as well. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
Omicron spreads faster than any other COVID-19 variant, so it's important for you to mask up to limit the spread. N95, KN95, and KF94 masks offer the best fit and filtration. Don't have these? Surgical masks or double masking with a surgical and fabric mask can also offer great protection. So there you go. Mask, vax, and get boosted. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hey all, it's Dean Sharp. There is nothing worse than getting ready to relax in a hot shower and then stepping into a nice cold one. If that's you, you need to call Water Heaters Only. Water Heaters Only has been replacing water heaters since 1968 and doing it with same-day service, the best price, the lowest prices around, and for a limited time, 0% deferred interest financing. So call the company that does Water Heaters Only. Visit waterheatersonly.com, get a new water heater with 0 interest, terms and conditions apply. That's waterheatersonly.com.
Check out weather from KFI. Speaking of water, we've got showers today and a slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. This is going to help that firefight in the Riverside County, Orange County line right there. Now, the chance of showers actually lingers into tomorrow, but we should be sunny and warmer by Monday. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
I'm Susan Owen, manager.